Hello everyone, welcome back to Total Football Talk. So we're going to look at all the latest news, transfer news coming out of Old Trafford at the minute. We're currently on the tour. They have arrived in Chicago, and we will be up and running at the weekend for the first tour game of this season in America, which will be great to see. So let's see what happens. But between now and then, we've plenty of news to get through. News is breaking this morning that in the top stories that Manchester United are looking at Javi Guerra from Villarreal. Some reports are saying that we are very close to a bid. Some reports are saying there's talk of a 21, 22 million pound bid going in already. So we'll dive into that and see what we can kind of deduce from that all. We'll also look at what's being said about Palhinha from Bayern Munich. There's a bit of information coming out about that. A little bit on Alejandro Garnacho. Couple of clubs interested in the Premier League. Some stuff potentially could happen there. We'll see what was being said. A little bit on Antony and a little bit on Ethan Williams, who I believe is being brought on the tour now, who Amorim has taken a liking to. So we will jump in with the top story, and that is that Javi Guerra has turned down apparently Valencia's contract renewal offer, and Manchester United are actively working on a deal to sign him, and the club is prepared to pay £22 million. Now, obviously, we know that Manchester United need a midfielder, and Ruben Amorim has talked about how much we really need legs in the midfield, and Javi Guerra is one of those players that Manchester United could be, the couple of interesting things here. He is a very energetic midfielder. He likes to get up and down. He can play as an 8. He can play as a 10, which is absolutely, would really suit what we need. Could he play next alongside Bruno? That'd be an interesting one. I'm not entirely sure. A couple of other things to kind of wonder about. Why is no one else in for him if he's only 22 million? Why are Liverpool or City or, even Chelsea, who are currently buying everyone, why are they not interested in them? Chelsea are apparently buying Xavi Simons now, but they're not interested in Javi Guerrero. I mean, maybe they've got too many players and they don't need another one. This young lad could be a good addition to Manchester United squad, but I'm not sure whether this is a deal that we can do, and I think it's potentially agent-led, where the agent is looking for a new contract. The contract is up in 2027. Now, I did report on this about a couple of weeks ago, that United were looking at him, and we could potentially do a deal there. But now it seems like, coming from Marca, who are normally a mouthpiece for Real Madrid, but they do have a lot of kind of information about Spanish players. And I mean, this will be a very interesting signing. Would I like to do a signing like this? I think so. I haven't seen loads of him. I've only seen little bits and, read little bits on him. So I couldn't tell you whether he is the perfect answer for our midfield. But from the little understanding that I have of him, he could be a very interesting prospect. He could do very well in our midfield. But as I said before, I'm not entirely sure whether him and Bruno would be the perfect combination. Him alongside of Casemiro could be quite interesting, alongside Ugarte. But I also think if we were to bring in this young lad, I think we'd have to let someone go. I think Collier would probably be the most likely to go because he's young. We could probably sell him. I don't think we'd get much for him. We'd probably get a little bit that could contribute towards this particular deal. As I said before, other midfielders, Bruno's not going anywhere. Casemiro doesn't seem to be going anywhere because of his wage demand. Ugate's still got a lot to improve on from last season. I think in patches he's done well, but does Ruben Amorim trust him enough to play in that midfield? And where does Kobe fit in and amongst all this? Is he able to step up and make that transition? I see Kobe more as a 10, but maybe he will be playing the 8 role this season. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to wait and see what Ruben Amorim's plan is on that. So let's keep an eye on the Javi Guerrero one. It'd be interesting if this did move forward very quickly. But yeah, I have a feeling this is more agent-led, and this is not necessarily going to be a deal that we're going to do anytime soon. So that's your news on that. And it was also being reported by Seb Eviches for Foot. I can't pronounce that. Apologies. And he was saying the same thing, that Manchester United are ready to finalise the 21.5 million signing of Javi Guerra. So, so as I said, it is being talked about in many different quarters at the minute. As I said, I just don't know if this is going to be a deal that we are going to do anytime soon. There's another deal from another particular midfielder that could be of interest to Manchester United. But again, do you first of all, would you like Javi Guerra at Manchester United? Do you know much about him? Do you think he'd be a good fit for him? Another player who had played so this guy is Premier League proven, and Manchester United are considering a bid for Bayern Munich's midfielder Joao Palhinha. Now, when Palhinha was at Fulham, I did like him. I thought he was a very good midfielder, very industrious. He liked to put in a tackle and he liked to get up and down the pitch. And he had a very good reputation in the Premier League. Obviously, he got his big move to Bayern Munich. It didn't quite work under Vincent Kompany for many different reasons, and now he's being considered again to be moved on from Bayern Munich, and Manchester United could be interested. And this is coming from Dean Jones from Soccer. Dean Jones has been good on some stuff. He's got some stuff right. He's got a few things wrong. So, do you think that Palhinha would be a good fit for Manchester United? Do you think he would move into that midfield? My only concern is he's kind of on the age of the slightly sort of, of that age group of being in the late 20s. I think he's 29 now. Yes, he has Premier League experience and he has got some league experience playing in the Bundesliga, but has he quite still got the legs that he had a couple of years ago in the Premier League? Premier League's getting faster, quicker, and players are getting younger. So I'm not entirely sure whether he's going to be the right fit for Manchester United, even though I think he's a really good player. Maybe for a short-term stopgap we could look at it, but if he does come, he'll probably want a big contract. It'll probably be the final contract that he'll get, so he'll be looking for big money, and Bayern Munich will probably want a decent transfer fee for him. So again, as much as this may be an option, I'm not entirely sure whether this is the right fit for Manchester United at this particular time. I think Javi Guerra might be a better fit because he is a younger midfielder, he's energetic, and he's got the potential to grow. Palhinha's done all his growing. I don't think he's going to get any better. This feels more like a Casemiro signing than a maybe Glazers type signing. And maybe if we're desperate and we do need a midfielder, maybe we could bring him in. Maybe we could get a good deal on him at the end of the transfer window. But yeah, one to keep an eye on, and that's where we are with and the information that we have on that one. Guys, thank you very much for joining me today. If you're enjoying the content, please hit the old like button. It'd be great if we could get 10 likes on this. Please hit the subscribe button if you can. That would be brilliant. Really helps me out. Get your thoughts in below on anything that I talk about. It would be great to hear your thoughts. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. And this is Tottenham Hotspur are stepping up their pursuit of Manchester United forward Alejandro Garnacho. This is also coming from Dara Rust, 1D, and Dean Jones from Soccer. Can you see Alejandro Garnacho going to Spurs? They're the last of the European teams. Obviously, they have Champions League football, so he will get the opportunity to play in Europe again. Does he see that as a really good fit for him under a new manager with a new vision? I'm not. It'd be interesting if he did go there. Would we want to sell him? Do we see Tottenham as a rival? I mean, they were last year and they did beat us in the Europa League final, which to this day is still a disgrace that we lost the final to Spurs. But if he was to go, would they be? We know notoriously that their owner, his name eludes me right now, Daniel Levy, does not like to do business, or he's a very tough operator, and I think he will try and squeeze the price down as much as possible. We know that we need to get a reasonable price for Alejandro Garnacho, but I've just got a bad feeling about this if he goes to Spurs. That if he went for 40 million, I think Spurs would be, it would be a good deal for Spurs and a bad deal for Manchester United. Plus, we'd be keeping him in the Premier League. I'd prefer to move him to Napoli. I prefer to move him out of the Premier League because I still think he's got a pretty good ceiling to go, and I think there's more to come from him. And if he, was to start ripping it up in the Premier League, then I think that would be really, really frustrating for us if he goes to Spurs and he does well. Maybe he'll go to Spurs in the bright lights and of the big city in London. He'll probably enjoy that. He'll like it maybe a little bit, but I suppose you can go one way or the other on that one. So there was other, there was talk of also Alejandro Garnacho's suitors believe that they can get this deal done for in and around £40 million. I think this is also Chelsea. We're looking at him, and they think now that they can get him for 40 million. Again, I just hope we tell them to go and whistle. We do need to get him off the books. He's not on the tour. He didn't go on that flight, and Ruben Amorim wants him gone before he gets back because he doesn't want him hanging around Carrington. So, plenty of information on Alejandro Garnacho there. We just have to. Time will tell. Over the next couple of weeks are going to be pivotal in terms of whether we can move him on, whether we can get a reasonable fee. I think maybe 45 million at this case, in this particular instance, is what we may get for him. Maybe if we get, I think we should get 50 million. Might be a bit less. Would you take it? Do you think you want him off the books for that? pure profit, yes, but I think from someone who was being touted as £60 million player being dropped to 45, 40 million, that's a big drop for me. And that's a lot of money disappearing from our coffers to help us bring in the next player that we need, be it midfielder, or be it Sammy Lemens, the goalkeeper from the Belgian league from Anderlecht. Royal Antwerp, apologies. But yeah, I think that is where we should be aiming for, as well as the striker. But Nicholas Jackson still being talked about, and my God, I hope that doesn't happen. Okay, moving on to the next little bit of news, and that is Real Betis are struggling to meet Manchester United's 30 million asking price for Antony. Atletico Madrid are now emerging as the favourites to sign the Brazilian winger. Now, Real Betis have had plenty of time. They knew the deal. Manchester United are asking for a fair price for someone who went there and had a brilliant season in the second half of the season. And I think Manchester United deserve a little bit more money because he went out there and, he showed what he could do. And I hope if they doesn't sign for Real Betis, for whatever reason they say they haven't got the money, I don't believe it, and Atletico Madrid can come in and offer something close to that, and we can break even or make a little bit of money on them, get the wages off the books, I think that would be absolutely fantastic result for Manchester United right now. I just hope that there is legs in this, and I hope it goes somewhere. And I said this is, this is bubbling under the books, but Manchester United need to get this deal done before the club again come back, because Ruben Amorim doesn't want Antony. Obviously, Rashford's gone. He doesn't want Sancho, and he doesn't want Malacia. He doesn't want any of these players coming back to infect his squad with any negativity when he arrives back from the American tour. And I think it's really important that we get the opportunity to move these players on quickly, effectively. We need to bring in some money, and that'll help us get a maybe second choice goalkeeper to Onana, and also bring in a midfielder, be it Javi Guerra, be it someone else, but we really do need that to start working pretty quickly. And there was one little final bit of news that broke, and that was Ruben Amorim has taken a shine to Ethan Williams, who has travelled with the squad to America, and that's coming from Alex Crook. Ethan Williams is a very good young player, very quick. I've seen him play on the wing a couple of times. He can play anywhere across the forward line. There's a really good player in him. It'll be interesting to see whether we're bringing him on the tour just to maybe up his value and sell him on, or whether he's in Ruben Amorim's long-term plans. We know Bentito Matado is on the tour as well. I actually, don't quote me on that. Actually, I could be wrong. Maybe he's not. There's a couple of the kids on the tour. I think he is, but I'm not. I could be slightly out on that one. Let me just double check that. But yeah, I just think that this young kid has potential. He's very quick. He looks like he's quite powerful. He could be a powerful player. Maybe even as a wing back for Manchester United. So let's see what comes from that. Ruben Amorim's taking a shine. Be interesting to see if there's any kind of forward momentum with this one. Okay, guys, that's your roundup. 13 minutes, apologies, gone over. If you're enjoying the content, thank you very much. If you've stayed with me to the end, you're a legend. Hit the old like button, hit the subscribe button, get your comments in below on anything I've talked about. And yeah, let's see what news breaks today, and let's see what we talk about tomorrow. Okay, thanks. I'll see you soon, guys.